Hi Capricorns, and welcome to your October 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. In this reading, I will be providing you some intuitive messages about the month ahead, a week-to-week tarot forecast, and an extended reading on Patreon, which will be linked below. Okay, so I feel that in October for you Capricorn, it's going to be quite a positive month. There are difficulties for everybody because of the Saturn-Uranus square and because of the really hectic Mercury retrograde that happened through September and will be kind of echoing until about the middle of the month. So there are maybe some inconveniences coming up for everybody, but I feel like these really help you. In fact, Pluto is going direct in your sign, and then your ruling planet Saturn is going direct in Aquarius as well. So by the end of October, you're facing a much more direct situation, and you are likely going to feel much less burned out, much less impeded. A lot of obstacles are going to be overcome in the month of October. So now in October, you kind of feel like you're starting to recharge, okay? I love seeing the Ace of Cups, the Empress, the Fool, Six of Cups coming up. You're starting to really be able to separate yourself from the problems of other people. Also, you're really seeing people for who they are. So you're maybe feeling refreshed or feeling much healthier because you see the truth. Even though some of these truths that might be coming in are hard, it's nice to not be confused or to be too blurry. So it seems like a truth-seeking month for you where you are having to use a lot of empathy or having to put yourself in other people's shoes to understand the truth of your relationship with them. So one of the most important things in October for Capricorn is, yes, being able to distinguish between your own wants, fears, or problems, and then those of others. Okay, so it's important for you to be able to say, okay, even if I'm having a hard time, it doesn't necessarily mean other people are. Even if I'm having a great time, it doesn't mean other people are. And this distinction that I feel that you're creating this month, where you maybe start to ask more questions or you start to level with other people more, will be a really positive thing. You have the King of Cups reversed. So there's something of not understanding why somebody feels a certain way, or even not understanding why you feel a certain way about something. You might kind of be in a place where it's like, wow, I've finally achieved a goal, or I've finally gotten to somewhere that I wanted to be for such a long time. Why doesn't it feel better? Or you could be dealing with somebody else who's going through that, somebody else who is transforming or having new desires, new aspirations that come in that start to question the old ones. So as you guys can see, by Scorpio season, by the third week of October, you're looking at a really new, different type of situation, and you're looking at a certain level of knowing that you can't go back, or that things can't revert, or things can't return to the way that they were. And while this might kind of seem like foreboding, I think this is a really good thing. Again, it's the Ace of Cups and the Fool, which is going to really lighten up the energy, make it less dense, and have you really moving out of burnout in a hopeful way. Because again, I feel like at the very beginning of the month of October, you might kind of be feeling burned out, or you might be feeling like things are really dense and heavy. But there is, I think, through that, a new commitment or a new much more intuitive way that you start to reinvent your lifestyle or reinvent your momentum that is going to be really hopeful. So that's going to be a lot of what October is about for you, Capricorn, really focusing on the Ace of Cups and the Fool energy to cultivate a new emotional path in your life so that you're not working in such a stagnant or repetitive cycle will be important. Also, the Ten of Swords reversed and the Seven of Wands coming up. Old conflicts really have to be moved on from here. I do see a lot of people, because of the Saturn-Uranus squares, basically repeating conflicts or not really allowing themselves to accept the truth or accept the pretty easy way forward. And that's going to be really important to just kind of come to terms with, is how we move forward, or how we allow ourselves to not exist in these kind of self-constructed conflicts in a way. The Ten of Swords reversed. Let's just go ahead and start talking about the week to week. In the first week, the Ten of Swords reversed, rooted down by the Six of Cups. That is on one hand, avoiding a bad situation. It can be not necessarily experiencing betrayal, but coming close to that or seeing that before it happens. And I'm seeing it more like a self-betrayal or some type of like promise that you've made to yourself a long time ago that you are having to choose to honor or not. So there's something of a promise coming up in the month of October, in the first and the third week, perhaps. And it's going to be maybe a testing time where Capricorns are having to decide, do I follow through on that? Do I honor that? Or have things changed? So that's important for you to know in the first week. Also in the first week, there is something being given, okay? Either you're giving something to someone or something's being given to you. There's a feeling of something that you've outgrown being passed on to another person or being delegated to another person. So you want to maybe prepare and then ask yourself, like, what do I want to not have anymore? What do I have that somebody else might need that I don't need? Okay, so this can be like a clothing donation. This can be any type of donation. Or this can even be like stepping aside for another person to fulfill something that you've been fulfilling for a long time, and moving into an easier place yourself. Because I feel like there's been too much maze navigation for you. Like the Ten of Swords reversed can also be like a maze. It can be like something that's too complicated, something you shouldn't have to be facing. So in a really boss type of way, I do see some Capricorns delegating this maze to another person, and that's going to be really fulfilling to do, I think, because maybe there are other people who want to face these kinds of problems, or other people who like want to be in that relationship where they're being cheated on. I mean, nobody wants to be cheated on, but some people get really connected to all kinds of like emotional havoc to fulfill their own narratives and storylines. So try to see if there's anybody else in your experience who is also wanting to fulfill what you have been fulfilling that is harder than it looks, okay? So maybe even in the career or at work, you could have someone who perhaps has like envy of your position or something. At this time, you can start to like let them see what it's like to be there, and start to reveal how difficult something is. Okay, so there's something in the first week of a revealing of difficulty, or revealing to other people how hard it is to do something, so that people aren't maybe a false impression of the degree of difficulty that you're engaging to do what you do. Yes, there's something really difficult coming through, and I'm not feeling like super easy about it as I'm like reading about it. So I do feel like Capricorns, and this is kind of like what your sign is known for. Pluto's been retrograde in your sign. Saturn has been retrograde in Aquarius. So there's been a lot of retrograde activity hitting you. The Uranus trine retrograde, the Mercury trine retrograde. I feel like there's somewhat of a really tough story, and it's so nuanced, it's so like complicated, and we can just spend all our lives thinking about it if we want. But you really have to maybe move on, or this energy of like kind of being like, okay, maybe I don't have to totally understand this, or maybe I don't have to like get so stuck on these things. Do I need to waste my time doing these things? With all that retrograde energy, it might have you like really reaching back, or really trying to step into that unfinished business mode. And now by the third week of October, especially by Scorpio season, there's going to be this like really strong revelation of like, whoa, I've got to like actually enjoy myself and enjoy my life. So I really recommend in this first week, Capricorn, really diagnosing what it is in your life that it seems too complicated, seems too nuanced, or difficult to really work with, and just kind of cross these things off the list, perhaps, or just allow them to be easier or simpler, or create a simple solution that starts to, in such a powerful way, get you out of these complexities. So let's move on from that crazy, complex, maze-like energy and talk about the second week. Seven of Wands done by the King of Cups reversed. Yes, emotional attachment to conflict. You're dealing with people perhaps who are emotionally attached to conflict, or even people who are like really having to do a lot of emotional healing. You might have people in your life who are having to go through therapy, or you might be having people in your life who need to go through therapy. There could be that type of thing coming in, and I think that you just need to be that solid, stoic person if you can, to move out of that energy. Okay. Week number 3, you have the Ace of Cups shooting down by the Fool, and something that I'm actually looking forward to speaking about for you. Wow. So things really change in the third week. Scorpio season comes in, and you are truly starting not only on a new journey of healing, but on a new journey of significance. Okay. The Ace of Cups is about energy. It's about the emotional strength, emotional energy, emotional reserves to really face big life situations in a really solid and stable way. And with the Fool reading that down, it just empowers it. So the Fool intensifies this beginner's energy, this new source of energy becomes even more pivotal in your experience. So there's something of a pivotal new beginning for you in the third week of October. And this is going to be really important because you need to think about what keeps you from that feeling of emotional reserve, that feeling of emotional energy. Okay, so like anything that feels like draining, like burnout, like not wanting to do something, not wanting to just keep on keeping on, is probably something that has had its time, or is something that maybe needs distance now, or will in the future. So distance is coming up for you in the third week. The Fool is like a quick moving energy away from older, heavier things. And so is the Ace of Cups. So anything that's evocative of the old, the heavy, the unreinventable, or the stagnant will start to feel quite uncomfortable in the third week of October. But because of that discomfort, the new and hopeful areas of your life will feel that much better too. So it's a really nice turning point there, a really nice opportune time for you to reinvent your sources of energy in your life. Okay, fourth week, Capricorn's the Empress rooted down by the Page of Swords. Beautiful. In the fourth week, you will have a level up or an evolution into... I feel that there are a lot of new ideas coming to you, especially ideas about how you can more easily do what has required so much effort. So I feel that you are optimizing your workflow here, or I feel that you are also maybe delegating, or not feeling the same pressure that you felt before to try so hard. Okay, so there's a big change in your relationship to effort here. And I feel that so many Capricorns are really coming into this place where it's like, okay, I have to value my time more, or I have to start to make some decisions about what I'm investing my time in. The Page of Swords is about time. It's also about communication. So look at the time that you're putting into communication, or the time that it's taking to communicate something, as you might be kind of overcompensating for previous lack of communication. So what do I mean by that? I mean like what you couldn't really say to someone before could be being said in like way too many words now. So in the fourth week of October, you come to this place where you're like relaxing and you're not so maybe desperate anymore. Like I feel all of the desperation is coming out, and that's going to really reflect in your communication. So you're going to be probably communicating in a much more kind of powerful way, because all the desperation is gone, or all of the fear, all of the turmoil, all of the confusion is starting to subside as you move into Scorpio season and as you start these new paths. So that's going to lead to a lot of elevations, Capricorn. So I want to prepare you guys for November. After October, of course, you're going to be probably facing a lot of elevations and facing a lot of new roles, or a lot of new responsibilities even. And I think that it's, for many of you, going to be like a dream come true, but then also you have to be willing to not have to do some of the things that you did before, or to not have to be so obligated, or to not have to be struggling so much to make certain ends meet, as I do feel that a lot of those old considerations about like making ends meet, about frugality, about material things has really parted ways with you, and you are in a much more emperor or empress vibe here, which is really nice to see, though it is important to realize, and it's important to not necessarily rely on those old muscle memories or those old frameworks of getting by, because you have really in a lot of ways elevated out of that. But yeah, let's talk more about that in your extended reading on Patreon, Capricorns. I will get a central theme and 2 supporting themes, and we'll look more into your month. I so appreciate you all being here. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and thumbs up the video. Also check out your sun, moon, and rising if this one didn't resonate, as sometimes it will resonate, sometimes it won't. But if it did, yes, let's go do this extended reading on Patreon and talk more about the month. I will talk to y'all soon. Have a great one. Bye.